Hello everyone, thank you for coming today on my channel Business Central Musings, where we cover everything Business Central, functional topics, development topics, and basically everything in between. Today I want to have a quick chat about a change that happened in the platform with Wave 2 2023, Business Central 2023 Wave 2. And this is the way the changes about the way the platform manages the data stack around um, base tables. So let's think of maybe sales header and the table extensions that will be generated by you and me um, to extend the, let's say, sales header. Before 2023 Wave 2, with each table extension, the platform would generate a table in the SQL database. And the two tables, the base table, let's say the sales header, and the extension, my sales header extension, let's say, is the name of the table. They would be joined seamlessly via a join SQL statement, and a select that involves a join. And the problem with that architecture was that if you have, let's say, I don't know, a lot of table extensions that extend the sales header, then you would end up with a lot of joins. And while SQL is good at creating plans to SQL plans to make this query performant, at some point it gives up and it cannot be very performant. So the change in the architecture was that now, instead of having one SQL table extension for each table extension in your AL project, now you have one table extension. So let's say I'm extending the sales header in version 22. The platform would create a table extension for my extension, and it would have joined the SQL table sales header with the SQL table for my table extension. And that join between those two tables would be seamless to us. Obviously, it would be executed by the platform. You would also create your own, and now in order to get all the data related to the sales header, which is the base sales header, my table extensions for the sales header, your table extensions for the sales header, would the platform would have used a select query with two joins. With version 23, now the platform creates only one table extension and adds in that table extension my fields from my table extension and the fields from your table extension. Therefore, instead of ending up with three tables, version 22 and before, now we have only two tables. And of course, this is going to be even more visible in terms of performance as as more and more extensions extend the sales header table, for example. So the problem is now that how much are we going to load when we want to use the sales header? Are we going to load the sales header and the extension table, or just the sales header? It doesn't make sense to load always all the fields from the base table and from the extension table. Sometimes you just want the fields from the base table. And for that, there is this new command from Microsoft, SetBaseLoadFields. Okay, so let's have a look at first at the documentation page, which is for the command SetBaseLoadFields. And as you can see here, says that only fields for the base table to be initially loaded when the record is retrieved from its data source. This will override fields previously selected for initial load. So if you have a if you're extending the sales header table in 50 extensions, if you use the SetBaseLoadFields in your own extension, then the system will only generate a select query based on the fields from the base table. So no extension fields, which is sometimes very good. As we can see here in ALAPP extensions repository, we have an example of how Microsoft is using in the Contoso Coffee demo dataset app, how it's using the SetBaseLoadFields. And let's have a look here. Insert sales lines with item. You see the code is only loading the base table item, and then it runs through validating the sales line fields, including the number, and in the end is inserting the sales line. So that is for this is because this is a standalone extension, and we're not looking at we're trying to create kind of base data, and we didn't need to load any of the fields from the extensions that might extend the item table. Okay, so what I did to understand what the SetBaseLoadFields does, and to kind of compare it to what the SetLoadFields does and used to do, I created one extension here. On the right hand side, you see the project 64 has a new table, and if we look at this table, let's make it bigger. We can see it's just a table, a new table in this extension, in my extension, which is extension named AL Project 64. I have a new table with a few fields. This was up to in field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. There is no key, so therefore the primary key is going to be the first field. And then yeah, that's the most important for this extension. We can definitely look at maybe let's see how the diagram for this extension looks like. I'm gonna use here a Prism, a software called Prism for AL. To get this software, you just search for Prism for AL in Google, and you're gonna get to the page of the vendor of this application. And after you install the Windows application, you come here in Visual Studio Code and you install Prism for AL connector. What's cool about this this application is, yeah, of course I've been using it for a few good years, but the most and it's allowing you to search for functions where they are called in the whole structure, in all the extensions. But what is actually cool here, I wanted just for you guys to understand what's the architecture of this AL Project 64 is based on the application extension from Microsoft, which is based on the base application and the system application, and then further down it's based on the system application. So this would be the diagram for this AL Project 64. The new table is in here. It's only in here in AL Project 64. Now let's go to Project 63, and if we look here, first thing is we created a dependency to AL Project 64. Why? Because I wanted to extend the table that was called new table that's coming from 64, and as you can see, I added a few more fields: nt new table extension 1 field 1, nt extension 1 field 2, and so on. 4 more fields to the one table that's coming from AL Project 64. Again, we can have a look. Let's just see how the diagram of this new extension looks like. And if we look on the module diagram, we can see 633 has a dependency 64 and all the Microsoft stack of extensions. Okay, so what do I have here on the hello world? On the open page trigger, I have this new table. So keep in mind I'm in 63, which has a dependency project 64. And on the open page for the customer list, what we have, we just want to see what's going to happen if we just do a find set on the new table. We're not trying to use the SetBaseLoadFields or SetLoadFields. Let's just see what's happening. Let's publish with debugging. We have set up a breakpoint on find set. Debugger stopped on our breakpoint here. If we open up the database statistics and then the last executed statement, and we look at the end, because that's where is going to be dumped, the last statement, and we go over. As you can see here, with no load function, what we get is a select query that contains all the fields in the base table, as well as all the fields, including the system fields, audit fields in the extension table, and the two tables, the main table and the extension table, they are joined. And yes, so with no load function, you get everything. Or you would get from the platform, you get a SQL query. Let's just mark it here, and then we're going to have a look. So we're selecting from the base table, but also from the extension table. And then we also have the audit fields here. Yes, so with SetLoadFields, let's have a look here. Let's write it down. SetLoadFields. What we get is we get the fields that we're gonna select in this SetLoadFields only, and the audit table, the audit fields. Okay. Now the third use case and the main topic of today, which is SetBaseLoadFields. Let's comment this thing. And stop the debugger and compile, and let's publish with debugging to have a look at this third use case. And again, the debugger stopped, and if we... So with SetBaseLoadFields, the query looks like this. We can see it's only selecting the fields in the base table, no join, just straight the base table. So we look today at one of the changes that came up in Business Central 2023 Wave 2, where Microsoft switched from having a table extension in the SQL Server, a table for each table extension, switched to having one table extension for all the extensions. So basically all the fields from all the table extensions are in one table, therefore there is only one join needed. We looked at SetBaseLoadFields, what it does, and we saw that is selecting only the tables in the base table, only the fields in the base table. With SetLoadFields, we're still using it. It's useful. We want sometimes to select fields from the base table as well as from the extensions. And we also saw what's happening when we have no load field, and it's the least performant because the system, we're going to select all the fields in the base table and all the fields in the extension table, and it's going to join the two tables. Yeah, that's what's happening with no load field. I hope it makes more sense now for everyone. Drop me a line in the comments below if you want to see something interesting. Let's learn together. Please subscribe, like, and come back on my channel, or just hit the notification bell, and you're gonna be notified whenever I drop a new YouTube video. Thanks guys, talk to you soon.